People are worried about Social Security. Is that why it's got them filing early? And if so, what are they missing by filing early? This is what you are here to explain to us, Mike Douglas, because, and I like, you're gonna play the devil's advocate here on this conversation that I want to talk about, which I appreciate. And I think that people that listen to this podcast also appreciate that about you. It's let's look at both sides and find where we are in the middle of the circumstance. It's your money. It's your retirement. Knowing that you've got a plan customized to you is the goal. So if you have questions about creating that customized plan, if you have questions about Social Security, all the questions that you have, you can visit us at michigansretirementcoach.com to start the conversation with Mike and his team. Or we also have links posted in the show notes. So we've talked about Social Security before. We have talked about how we don't want to fearmonger. We don't believe Social Security is going away, but something is going to have to change with Social Security. Otherwise, it will become insolvent. So it's a waiting game to see who, what, where, when, why will happen with Social Security. Now, many people are worried about the future of it, and they are, quote unquote, putting their money where their mouths are. So far this fiscal year, 276,000 more people have filed for benefits, which is a 13% increase over last year. Many are taking them at the earliest possible age, which is 62, because of fear the program won't be around for long or that their benefits might get cut. So let's talk about these numbers. And also, I guess there are pros and cons to all different ages of filing Social Security, right? 62 to 70, that space. Yeah. So let's talk about utilizing that time well, making sure we don't miss out on opportunities, and maximizing benefits.
So let's talk about the stat first, so I can just get this little snarky comment out and we can move on from there. Okay.
Let's go ahead and get this monkey off your back because you're annoyed.
I got to address this. So every year we're going to keep hearing stats that say more people than ever are doing something boomerish, right? Something senior citizen-y. Why? Because more senior citizens than ever are here. We have more people turning 65 than ever in the history of our country. Yep. So every year we will get some new stat. Do you know more people than ever filed for Social Security last year? Yes, because we've got more people than ever Social Security eligible. Yep. And the example I gave you was like shark attacks, when they say the most shark attacks happen, in 6 foot or less deep of water, right? Like that's where you're most commonly attacked by sharks, but that's where all the people are.
Right.
Right. And so, of course, that's where the shark attacks happen.
Beachgoers not hanging out 500 yards off of the coast.
Yeah. And if you do, we don't know about it. You're just gone. Right. Like if a shark kills you out in the middle of the ocean, we won't know about it.
That's right.
But yet, so there's stats that can be skewed one way or the other. So, yes, it is true. More people than ever have filed for benefits. And there is an increasing number of people filing early. However, when you hear stuff like more people filed than ever last year, just take it with it. All right.
Okay.
So that being said, there's some interesting things about Social Security. The number right now is 2032. Right. And that number,
when it will become insolvent if nothing changes.
Yeah. And so
that number does change.
Yeah. I've heard 2034, 2035, 2032. But if you're going to build a plan, you should always build the most conservative number, which is, let's say they have an issue in 2032.
Yep.
So that is a thing. And as we are talking to people more and more, we're saying, you know what? Checks that clear are better than checks that are promised. So you may want to consider taking it earlier. And whenever we talk about this stuff, someone jumps in the comments and says, well, I waited to 70. Then that's great. I'm not giving a specific recommendation for everybody. But if you're pulling from your assets that are making 10, 12%, because they're following in the stock market, and you say, I'm going to let my Social Security grow by 8% per year, but you're pulling from something earning 10 or 12%, that math gets a little wonky. Okay. Also, how many years does it take you to get the money back? So one of the questions I go through, people say, if you want to retire at 64, right? And you say, well, I guess I could wait till I'm 67 or 70. And at 64, you're getting $2,000 a month of Social Security benefits. That's $24,000 a year. So you say, well, I'm going to wait till 67 because I'm going to get $2,600 a month or whatever the number is. So you get an extra $600 a month in 3 years. So that's an extra $7,200 a year, right? I know we're getting a little bit math and nerdy, but
yeah, that's okay.
So I get $24,000 at 64, 65, and 66. So I got $72,000. And I'm saying that if I wait, I can get 7,200 more a year. Well, it's going to take me 10 years to get back the $72,000 I gave up by waiting.
Right.
So now I'm at 77. I've officially surpassed what I could have done if it was just straight dollars.
Yeah.
But also, if you need money, and because you let your Social Security grow for 3 years, not only did you give up the 72,000, you also pulled money out of your retirement accounts that could have been earning interest.
Yep.
So there is no absolute number for when you should or shouldn't, but you have to factor in a couple things. Number one, do I take it now and save money in my investments? Number two, how many years does it take me to get my money back? How about this? If I take money from Social Security before my full retirement age, I now have an income limit before they start withholding Social Security from me. So if you're
still working, for example.
Because some people say, well, if I'm going to work till 68 or 70, maybe I should just take my Social Security at 62 and start banking it, which I like. However, up until your full retirement age, there's an income limit of about $23,000 you can earn. And once you get past that $23,000,
full retirement age is 67.
Well, it depends. In this scenario, 67, right?
Okay.
If you're born 1960 or later, it's 67.
Okay. So 66, 67
Yep.
for most Americans. If you start taking money before that full retirement age, but you're still working, the income limit is, okay, go from there.
It's right around $23,000.
So you can earn $23,000. Okay.
Yep.
And then what happens?
If you go above $23,000, for every $2 over that, they withhold $1 of Social Security.
Okay.
So if you're earning $80,000 to $100,000 a year, they're going to end up withholding basically your whole Social Security. Now, the year you retire, there's a grace up to 50 grand, but there's this kind of complicated thing of, well, if I earn too much and I take it, I don't even get it. And they wait until 70 or later and they pay it back over the course of my life. So in that situation, if you're still working, let it grow, let it roll.
Yeah.
Once you hit your full retirement age, 67, right? Or 66, you can earn as much as you want and get your full benefit and bank it.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah.
There is also, so that's one more decision, right? Do I have an income limit?
Yeah.
The next is when I have earned income above certain levels, they tax my Social Security as ordinary income. It's called provisional income tax.
Say that again. When I have income over, I'm just from my brain, I'm trying to keep pace.
Yep. So if I'm getting Social Security.
Yeah.
And I have no other sources of income, I probably won't pay any taxes on my Social Security.
Okay.
If I have Social Security income and a pension, they're probably going to tax a good chunk of my Social Security, 50% of it or maybe more.
Okay.
If I have Social Security and I'm working full time and I'm earning $70,000, $80,000 a year, they will be taxing up to 85% of my Social Security as ordinary income. So not at an 85% rate, but they're going to tax it like I went to work and earned it this year.
Yep.
So now I'm paying taxes on this, and it's not a tax-free income that's coming in from Social Security. It's not a return of the money I gave them.
And haven't we already paid taxes on our Social Security in our working years?
Yeah, and that's the problem. We think of Social Security as the return, like I take it out of my safety deposit box that I contributed to. Like I put it in all these years, and it just sits and waits for me, and I pull it out.
It's not how it works.
It's not. Provisional income is a tax rate, and you will be taxed on your Social Security. So now it's not just do I take it now and save the money, or how many years do I get the money back, or do I have an income limit, but it's also how much do I want to pay in taxes on it? Well, shoot, if I'm going to be taxed heavily on it, it kicks me into a new bracket. Maybe I should wait on Social Security and maybe do some Roth conversions or something else with that tax bracket. So there's a lot moving in there. And then the last one is kind of Social Security plus rates of return. Right. So if I'm full retirement age and I want to take the Social Security and reinvest it, you are going to go earn in the market with that money versus waiting to 70. That way you can get slightly more per year. So again, there's multiple moving pieces here. Yeah. I'd say the last factor to think about is survivorship. If you have a situation where you have two very strong Social Security benefits, it's completely different than like what Kimberly and I have, which is Kimberly stays home with the family and I work. So she's hopefully, when it comes time, going to get a spousal benefit off of our Social Security, off my Social Security. So we'll have my benefit and hers will be 50% of mine. Well, in that situation, if something happens to either one of us, her benefit goes away and mine remains. If I die, her benefit goes away and she gets my benefit.
Okay.
So there's a wide gap in our benefits. It may make sense in certain situations to let one grow all the way to 70 for the largest surviving benefit.
Let's use me and Kyle as an example. So my husband and I, we don't have kids. We both have careers.
Mhm.
So he does make more than I do, but I anticipate having a pretty substantial Social Security. So we're the exact same age. He's like 3 months older than me. So
Yep.
as we go 20 years from now, when we both hit 65,
Yep.
this is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. And so we
Okay.
start looking at, should we have a survivorship benefit that's greater, right? Like if
Mhm.
your Social Security benefit's the exact same,
Mm-hmm.
right? We would go through the same conversation. Well, shoot, are we giving up $30,000 a year to one day have a higher benefit? If I'm still working, I think it's more of an issue in a situation like Kimberly and I, and that's why I'm glad you brought this up. Because
Yeah.
if we both have a high benefit
Yeah.
and we go up, survivorship benefit is basically just going to be the same benefit.
It's just going to fall off.
You're right. So if you pass, Kyle gets the larger of yours and his.
Okay.
If he passes, you get the larger of yours and his.
Okay.
Since they're so close,
Yeah.
I feel like there's less of a significant benefit
Okay.
because they're going to be running up. With Kimberly and I, hers is so low, and mine, it's 50% of mine, that
Yeah.
as we grow, if we can let mine go to 70, and I don't have a pension, I own a financial firm.
Right.
We don't get pensions, right?
Right. Right.
So there is no supplemental pension income. It's going to be all investments in Social Security. So it may make sense for us to let mine go to 70, especially if I'm still working and trying to build this large survivorship benefit.
Mhm.
But this is the conversation. There used to be a great strategy for you and Kyle. And the great
Okay.
strategy for you and Kyle was we do what's called file and suspend. So what you would do is you would take a spousal benefit off of Kyle because he's 3 months older.
Mhm.
So once you both get to full retirement age, you would file for a spousal benefit of his, 50% of his,
Mhm.
allowing yours to grow all the way to age 70
Mhm.
and then turn yours on.
Okay.
So for the years between 67 and 70, you would just take a spousal benefit for 3 years.
Until
At age 70, you turn your benefit on, and it got the 8% jump while still getting free money from the government.
but that doesn't exist anymore.
No, they
So
got
why
rid
are
of it.
you why are you telling me? But tell me what I need to know, sir. Not what
It
could
was-
have been.
It was a whole thing. It was called file and suspend. It was a great strategy. We used it quite a bit in 2015. They passed a law that got rid of it.
I wonder.
But-
I was going to say it probably started becoming because it started to now in America. So many couples are two incomes,
Yeah.
two careers. So I'm sure
Yeah.
that they were like, all right,
One that was designed for Kimberly, right?
Yeah,
Someone who
that's right. Well, because it
she
used to
will
be
retire
more of
with-
that way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she'll retire with 40 quarters paid in because of our pre kids years when she worked. And once the kids get out of the house, she'll probably do something.
Yeah.
But until then, she's home fully invested with the kids.
Yeah.
And so for her, it was like, all right, well, allow your benefit to get to a reasonable number. And along the way, just take half of Mike's.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see they will continue to close loopholes over the next
Yeah.
5, 10, 15 years, because at the end of the day, the largest transfer of wealth from the largest generation in our country's history is happening over the next 20 years. Trillions of dollars is going from boomers to their kids or grandkids and their beneficiaries. They are closing gaps and shortening timeframes. You can no
Yeah.
longer extend money over your kid's life through a stretch IRA. It's now a 10-year IRA. You no longer can file and suspend in Social Security. You just have to take your benefits.
Yeah.
They are closing these things down because, and I'm not saying anybody specific. It's been going
Yeah.
on. So, we literally can say 2015, that was President Obama's administration. Through President Trump's administration, then we passed the Secure Act through
Mhm.
like a Republican-based thing, passed the Secure Act, which got rid of the stretch IRA. So both sides
Yeah.
of the aisle
Yeah.
are limiting and reducing long-term, long-held benefits that let you stretch money out too long.
Okay.
What we need to do as people is know the rules and start planning for it, figuring out ways to get your money after tax,
Yeah.
figuring out ways to keep as much as you possibly can of what you've earned. So the question of when do I take Social Security? It's a great question.
Got it.
And you got to go down this list of, does it make sense for me and my family right now? What should we
Mhm.
do? What about survivorship? All of that. And just figure out what makes the most sense.
It's just Social Security.
Just Social Security.
We've been paying into our whole careers. We want it to pay back into us now. Shouldn't it be simple? Yes. Is it? No.
It's like that,
Nope.
like the, was it JP Wentworth when they're like, I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. It's like, it's my money. I want it now. That's how we feel about Social Security.
Yeah.
It's my money and I want it now.
Uh-huh.
And then they say, sounds good. Here's a bunch of taxes you didn't know about. Wait a minute.
Hang on. Haven't I already paid taxes
Yeah.
on that? Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it
So
left my
anyways,
paycheck as a tax. Yeah.
it's complicated. It shouldn't be. It should be something that is simple as you filing for it and getting what you have paid into it, paying it back into you. But that's not the way it goes anymore. So understanding what your options are, how to implement a Social Security strategy into your overall retirement strategy is one of the many areas covered in the Life Plan Financial Design process that Mike and his team, they're here to go through it with you. If you have questions, I mean, just on the 15 minutes we spent on Social Security, I have to imagine a lot of people have lots of questions building out a strategy, but Mike and his team, they are here to help. Michigan's Retirement Coach.com is where to start the conversation with Mike and his team about the questions that you have. We also have links posted in the show notes. Let's get to work figuring out your retirement income streams. Michigan's Retirement Coach.com.